Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Another episode of True Beast Trainer. I believe this is episode 6. Get my co-host, Mr. Stan, in here with me. Hope everybody's doing good. If you in here right now, please go and share that thing out a couple of times. Share it to your best friend. Tag a couple of people. Do what you got to do. Joining for the first time, if you check that question mark at the bottom with the circle around it, you tap your question in there. It makes it a lot easier for us to
You
answer your
there?
questions. Yep, I'm here. Are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I think my thing took a shot, so I'm gonna have to do this one. How's the sound?
You good. It just sounds like you're on your phone, but it'll work. We'll
Okay.
make it work.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but I need to check it out. It's kind of stupid that I checked it out now, but you ready to get this started?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the True Beast Trainer episode number 6, brought to you by X-Dog, where you can find the world's greatest dog harness, the X-Dog vest. So be sure to check out xdog.com. And tonight, Zach, we have a very special guest, one that I'm very excited about because guests like this move the needle for me because he's not just like some type of dog trainer. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you know how I like to be surrounded around people who are like-minded and,
For sure.
you know, people who are go-getters, hustlers. They work hard. They chase their goals. They achieve their goals. They set new goals. And that's really exciting for me. And he goes by the name of Jason Coffrin. Jason Coffrin.
Coffrin.
Sorry, I'm long-winded because I've been running back and forth trying to figure this thing out. And he's the owner and CFO of Coffrin Diamond Jewelers, but he's more than just a business owner. He's an athlete, runs ultra marathons, fisherman, bow hunter, SAR canine mana handler. And so I'm excited, man. But I know we got some news for our guests tonight, as we're probably going to be getting off Instagram here in the near future and moving on to Zoom, right?
Yep.
And so if you guys are listening here, we will have different ways that you can enter the contest and different giveaways and stuff like that. But we are going to be moving over because we're getting so much traffic on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, that we need to bring out some better quality. And sometimes when we're on here, it's blurry. I'm running into issues right here with the microphone, as you can see. And, you know, we can go from there. But Skipper 3131, you can just go to xdog.com. If you want to order an X-Dog vest, go to xdog.com. That's where you can order your X-Dog vest. However, if you guys have any questions tonight, be sure to put them in the question box. We do have a spinner wheel for tonight. So if you guys want to enter the contest, that'll be one way to go. But other than that, man, how's everything going for you?
I'm good, bro. I've been back and forth. I've been on the road all day. I had to take a trip to my vet, get some progesterone tests done on some beaches. Yeah. And then, But I still got to go back. But I even waited. I took my time. It was like what's today? Day 7, 8. Today's day 8, and she's still at a 0.9.
Sure.
So I still got to go back and wait. Still playing the waiting game. But other than that, we good, bro. I went to the gym when I got back. Got that out the way.
Yeah, I think
I'm ready to jump this podcast off.
One thing I'm excited about tonight as well is that when I was looking into dog obesity today, just because I'm kind of researching, and the petobesity.org site was talking about if you're overweight as a dog owner or obese as a dog owner, more likely your dog's going to be overweight or obese.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to hear that. I know I kind of got it was kind of an interesting post. The majority of health-related issues are linked back to dogs that are fed processed food. And people want to argue that all the time, right? Like, they're like, no, it's not. There's always other things. And I'm like, okay, well, when we look up the statistics, there's approximately about 50 million dogs that are overweight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obese, which is a big sign of inflammation. Now, when we look at those 50 million dogs, how many of those dogs do you think are fed processed food?
Probably majority, like 95%. Yeah.
How many obese dogs do you know that have an active lifestyle, that's on a, maybe a complete and raw balanced diet, that are overweight? It's very rarely heard of.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all dogs need to be on I mean, if you're feeding kibble that it's a bad thing or it's processed food is a bad thing. It's just a fact. The majority, I'm not saying all, but the majority of health-related issues are linked back to dogs that are fed processed food. There's no way around it, right? Like,
Yeah, no, I shared I was in the rabbit hole last night. I shared a YouTube clip for anybody that's interested. It's on my Facebook page. And it was by Dr. Grundy, and he had Dr. Karen Becker, and then one of her partners that they just wrote a book. And the caption of the video was, "You're feeding your dog fast food." And in the video, they basically touch on everything that we talk about with kibble, and even they even went as far as saying this. They said they understand that a lot of people can't afford to feed raw, or the circumstance they can't get everything, whatever the case may be. And for those that do feed kibble, they said just strictly feeding your dog the same kibble over a long period of time is worse than not putting them on any, like, so basically they were saying if you just feed them the exact same food every single day for their entire life, it's very bad.
yeah,
Like it never changes. There's no immunity to the gut system. There's no change. There's no need for the gut to adapt and like overcome. So they was like saying that even though you might have a kibble that works, that's good, it's still unhealthy to feed that exact same kibble every single day for its entire lifespan.
yeah. And I had people reach out and they're like, well, you're just talking about gut inflammation. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say you have degenerative joint disease or inflammation in your joints, right? It's most likely due to what food you're eating. And you can switch that up by, food heals. And at the end of the day, let's just say you go to the veterinarian, right? And the veterinarian puts you on an antibiotic, right? Where does that go to first? The stomach. It has to go in through the stomach.
Through the gut.
Everything derives from the stomach. And, a lot of working dog people feed processed kibble, but the difference between the way they feed it versus an average pet owner, which is where that's mostly linked to, right? You have an active lifestyle and the dog has to work for food. So it's constantly almost in a fasting mode, and it's always burning those calories. What I'm talking about is somebody most likely is feeding processed food, free feeding, overfeeding, and the system is constantly full of processed food. When you look at a working dog and it's constantly active, you got to constantly try to put calories in it, So how the dog's body is going to react to that processed food compared to a dog who doesn't have that same lifestyle is completely different.
Yeah, then they were even talking about how treats, like dog treats, are worse than actual food. Like they basically said if you're gonna give your dog a treat, they would rather you just give something that they can eat. Like they said a few things that dogs can't eat for sure, but then other than that, they were like, we would recommend you feeding out your fridge as opposed to going to the store. Because the guy that wrote the guy that's writing the book, or I think it's already out, with Karen Becker. He got into the whole process and the journey because he almost killed one of his dogs from the chicken jerky treats. Remember when that was a big trend? And it like shut the dog's kidney down and all kinds of stuff. And then come to find out that after research and everything, it was because of them treats. And he got on this journey. And that was what they were saying, man. Like they were basically saying that regardless, it doesn't matter what kibble you feed. At the end of the day, they're all not good for the dog. But raw is the raw is the ultimate goal. But they understand not everybody can afford it or can maintain that lifestyle. So they were giving alternatives. It's a dope podcast. It's a dope segment. If you're looking for it, if you follow me on Facebook, it's on my page.
All right, well, let's bring Jason on, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to pick this guy's brain.
Let's do it.
For those who have questions, also, if you guys can keep it, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, that means if you're a canine trainer, this is a great time to ask a person who runs a business and have run a business for over 2 decades some business questions as well. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Sorry
It's a little dark. I'm in my truck, but I think you got that message of why I'm in the truck.
Yeah. No worries, man. Just appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to bring the value to our community, and I just want to say thank you for that, man, for sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I appreciate being all these dog guys out here that you had me on here. Very cool. Very cool. I'm pumped.
Well, I was kind of explaining to people this. I like these type of episodes. Even though I love bringing on a lot of trainers and stuff like that, I love bringing on other entrepreneurs. I'm part of multiple different entrepreneur groups. Like one of them is with, Andy Frisella over First Form and Arte with Ed Milet. And it was kind of funny because I seen that you were an Origin affiliate, and he had the owner of Origin on his podcast the other day. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah. And, I'm a big fan of Jocko Willis as well. I read his books and stuff like that. And,
right.
So I already knew. I was like, oh man, this is more of a attracting mindset type podcast, and I was looking in today. I was actually explaining to Zach, like lifestyle, man, really affects dogs too. Environment, lifestyle can affect the overall quality of life of the dog, and it kind of goes hand in hand. And a lot of the people who utilize X-Dog Vest are also active individuals, right? It's because they understand the benefits of it. And so you're very active, right? Athlete.
Well, you see those beach runs with the dog vest.
Yeah. So what got you into ultra marathon running?
2018, my best friend passed away.
Okay.
And I ended up running he's from Philadelphia, so I ran the Philadelphia Marathon in 2019.
Yeah.
Well, I trained like the month before it. So you know how that went, like anybody else,
Yeah.
I did finish it, but after that it was kind of like me and him were, we had a lot of fun, we did a lot of crazy stuff, and so with him gone and me doing that run, I was like, all right, let's go to the next level, and it's kind of like the conversation we'll probably have about the training with the dogs. You got a house pet. I've got a husky for about 9 years. It's had one of your original vests and still runs in it. And, and then I got into, all right, let's get a shepherd. All right, let's teach it something. I'm not in law enforcement or anything. So SAR, search and rescue is the thing I can do. And, I want to take it to the extreme, just like I did with the Moab 240. It's, let's go over there across seas and do something for real, although, SAR is absolutely for real over here too.
Sure.
I just, I look for another level. And after we do that, if we accomplish that, I'll get back over here and, and stay into it. Yeah. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Especially absolutely. On the canine side.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty interesting.
So, as far as, the SAR canine handling, who introduced you to that as far as like what spiked that interest?
I think the biggest interest was just the interest in canines and being like, even though I'm still a novice, I don't like being the guy on the end of the bottom of the totem pole. I wanted to get better at it. I wanted to learn more, and it just, feed the drive, just like you are the dog.
For sure. Yeah.
So I got more into it, and I was like, going back to what I just said about, not being a law enforcement, obviously I can't just go over to Afghanistan and help out. I can't just be a canine cop and do that. So where was I at? And, although therapy dogs, canines are a very important thing, it's not me, you know what I mean? So I wanted to do something where I get into them. I don't have the room or the knowledge to be a breeder. That was something that really turned me on about your podcast. I've learned a ton in the last month.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot to it. But SAR was something I could do, and there's levels of it. You you can be in your community, or you can do what I'm trying to do, to go over to Africa and and hunt humans, poaching, and and be an anti-poacher. And that's becoming a huge thing now. So I was like, oh, okay.
That sounds pretty intense too, bro.
Yeah. It's the more I research it, I kind of look at the dog like, yeah, are you ready? Because I'm not.
Yeah. No,
like,
seriously,
dog, he doesn't care, So it's just another level of that. I did a couple when the pandemic hit. I got big into the canine thing because it's like, you're at home. I got this German Shepherd that can jump over an 8-foot fence. It's like, let's do something with him, So I started taking Working Dog Magazine, their Zoom classes.
Yeah.
I took a couple of their 16-hour courses, and sitting around at home, that's where that went. It just, building blocks. And then I took the course, and then I went out in the backyard, and I wasn't working either. We shut down the store for about 4 weeks, and it was like I got into it. So then when we got back to work, I wasn't just gonna quit. I don't quit much. So it was like, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And then SAR kind of there's a big SAR community here, and there was a lot of people, and I think you guys know a lot of the ins and outs in SAR, and, you know, it wasn't really, you know, for me in the area, and, you know, and I didn't really know how to train myself, so I kind of got out of it for a little bit. And then I was like, I don't know, it's just like, nah, let's not quit. Let's keep going. You know, there's more to it. I mean, you can, I didn't even realize, I mean, you know, just hiding the ball with the canine, that's search right there, you know, and I have a blast with that. So we started doing it again. And my buddy that I was trying to get you hooked up with, Arsenal Canine, he came down and visited a couple months ago and did some drills with the dog. And he's like, dude, you gotta do something with him. You know, he's high drive. He's all over the place. All he wants to do is look. So I was like, all right, let's go to Africa. And he's like, that's not what I was thinking, but all right.
Very extreme, yeah. From one extreme to the next, yeah.
You know, you could just join the community SAR program. I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to go over there. And he's like, all right.
I guess we're
Let's see what we can do.
No, so let's talk, like, so digging deeper, how much training does it go in to get a dog to be able to search like that? You know, for one, like you said, poachers, so they're going off a scent of, are they going off a scent, or is it just going off of how does that work?
Still going over there as a civilian, if I get chosen and get the opportunity, I would be looking for traps. So call it like article search.
Okay.
So that's what I'd be looking for, snares and stuff like that during the day. And, you know, if we find something during the day on basically a patrol, you know, they put the big dogs out at night, you know, literally. So yeah, I'd still be going over as a volunteer, and doing that with a community of people that are doing it over there. But that's what I'd be doing, article search.
You have a military background?
I do not. I do not. I've always, a lot of people say they wish they did, but I really wish I did. It's like it's a thing that I'm always going to wish I did. So, but I guess another avenue of the SAR is me giving back in that way.
No,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of have that aura presence to you that it's like you're almost military, you know. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know a lot of guys. Arsenal Canine, he was military and cop for a long time up in Canada. I'm surrounded by a lot of those guys, so you know, I'm into hunting. It just kind of yeah.
So what turned you on to entrepreneurship? At what point in your life did you know, okay, I'm gonna open my own establishment? You may have not known what it was, or what was the first time that you actually was like, okay, I can do this. This is for me.
I was in Costa Rica as a charter captain for about 11 years in my own boat. And I got back home, and it went from running your own boat in Central America to being just in the jewelry store. And the fact that my mother and father had run it, my father passed away in 2005, but he started it back in 80. Okay. And my mother had been running it until I came back. So it was an established business. I'm still there 6 days a week.
So you grew up.
I did.
You grew up with your parents influencing you to be an entrepreneur and that daily grind and getting up and making so. Correct. That's where it started for you. I got you.
Yeah, and the business was already established, so it was like, yeah, I'm running it, but what can I do now? You know, and I have the time. I have a great staff over at the store, but you know, it's like you just said, it opens you up to that brain. You know. Yeah.
What more can I get?
Well,
yeah.
That's an interesting concept. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's an interesting concept because, you know, the more I study about entrepreneurship and business and stuff, usually second generation fails because it's kind of like they come into it, they have a parent that's successful, and then they don't have to go through all the fucking hardships, right? And then it's almost like a circle of life, like second generation fails, then third generation comes back to restore it because, you know, they kind of had to struggle through not having to struggle, you know? So but with the type of mindset that you have, I can see why you're successful with it, you know?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's get into, I got some questions over here. So as far as your business goes, right, as you've taken it over, I know you said you had some good employees, but what has been the most challenging thing as a CFO or a business owner that you've had to run into?
I think the biggest adjustment, I took it over in 2019, and I took it over in like, I want to say like August, September. And then bam, everybody shut down. So I was like,
Yeah, COVID.
oh, this is
Yeah.
my first 6 months. All right, let's, here
Yeah.
we go. Thanks, Mom. We'll see ya.
Yeah.
Mom was like, that's it. I'm moving to Gainesville. It's yours. Keys, bye. You know, I mean, we talk every day about it, but I think nowadays, and you guys will probably agree with what you're doing, every month can be different nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
got to play it by the month. I mean, yeah, of course, you want to look at the next 10 years. You want to look at, you know, your children taking over your business if that's what you're going to do. But every month nowadays, guys, is different. You know, like one month is incredible, and then the next one's like, what? There's nobody around. You know.
Yeah.
It's a very slope. So I think I love the work side. I love the prep. So I think just getting ready for the next month or the next quarter, like let's get ready this way, and this way, and one of these hopefully works. You know, let's cut advertising here. Let's do more of this. Let's do more of that. You know, hopefully one of these will stick. You know.
Yeah. Is it mainly walk-in traffic, or are you e-commerce as well?
We're just getting e-commerce now. We're just starting. We changed point of sales. We've got the Square system, and they have a great e-commerce. So we're taking pictures and we're putting info on there now. Our goal is to have e-com in October for next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're walking, and we've been in the same spot for 33 years now, in business for 43. So we've got a great clientele. We're in a great location. We just added some parking. So we're still that walk-in old school, which, you know, the next 100 years, or the next 50 years, I should say, you probably still are with jewelry. You know, you want to see it, you want to touch it, especially high-end stuff. You know, a guy buying a watch, he wants to put it on, wants to see what's up. Now, a lot of people are researching it online, but it's good to be able to walk in and talk to Jason or talk to Bruce or Daniel in my store and go, all right, I got the watch from those guys. I know who I got it from, you know? So.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, if I'm going to spend some money on a watch, I'm going to want to put my hands on it before I buy it. I'm probably not just going to buy something off of Amazon.
Right. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
There's you could be buying a fake. You don't know.
Yeah.
I could be Joe Schmo on Amazon and have the greatest pictures in the world, and you go to buy that watch and then I find you the bunk one and it's over. See ya. That's it, you know?
So how much time do y'all put into, so you get a lot of foot traffic. You've been there for, what'd you say, 40 plus years now, 30 plus years?
40 plus in the business, 30 plus in the same location. Yeah.
So what type of marketing goes into something like that? Like what's your scheme monthly to keep marketing at a rate to where you see a return on investment as far as traffic or sales?
The thing we started doing when I came back is something my mother did a while ago, and I wanted to bring back the old school marketing. I started doing mailers again.
Yeah.
So wow. I do about 12 by 9, just single card, nice paper mailer. We're doing EDDM, so it's a nice photo on the front. The photo changes every time, and then all of our info in that new parking I was telling you about is on the back. And we did them every month last year, and we're going to be doing them quarterly this year. And people bring them in. You know, it says jewelry repair, it says watch repair, it says in-house on it. So, you know, let's say Zach brings his watch in, it's getting repaired here. We don't send it off to Rolex or send it off to Omega. It's being done here.
So
that's the big
y'all are certified. I know, because with like Rolex, you have to be a certified, like, by them to actually work on them, right? Is that true, or is it?
Not necessarily. There's not really a school. It's not really a certification. You need to be a master watchmaker. You are correct about that.
Got you.
And we have one of those in the and we have a guy named Mario in the back room. He's been doing it. He's from Cuba. He's been doing it for about 35 years now, out of Maryland, and he recently moved down. I'd say now he's been with us probably about 7 years, and he's a magician. I don't know how he does it. He works in a little space the size of a 50-cent piece. It's insane. But he does them all in-house. We can get parts. We do all the service. We bring the parts in. We do a free estimate where we break down the watch. And, you're connected. The client is connected the entire time of the process.
Yeah, consumer experience is like so important to me. I felt like, you know, for me, I had a lot of hardship. I hired bad. I hired fast, and I didn't, you know, I should have hired slow, and I should have just, you know, I didn't hold people accountable to our core values. So I went through some challenges these past, you know, 3 or 4 years initially coming out the gate. And this year, I just reevaluated everything. I said, I'm going back to old school. I'm picking up the phone. Everybody who places an order on the website, I'm personally calling them. They have a point of contact. And during a time where, a lot of companies are automating a lot of things, but you know, it's like for me, I'm like, that's what's gonna get us to stand out. Like, and it's just been a game changer because I started in December doing it. And I moved some people around. I put my best person behind customer service because she was actually doing customer service work for a customer service person who wasn't doing the work. You know what I mean? And so I was like, why don't we just put you there and just, you know, and that way you don't feel like you're doing somebody else's work, and then we can actually reward you for it. And the amount of people who are hitting us up going, oh my God, your guys' customer service is just ridiculous. We're going to continue to buy. We're going to continue to put that word of mouth. So we're now starting getting that acceleration of that word of mouth plus our marketing. And we're not running into any issues now, you know, and it's kind of like an old school way, and it takes a lot of time because, I mean, you're talking like I talked about on a minimum day, my average is 50 calls a day, right? And
Wow, good for you.
I'm sending voice calls, voice messages, you know, and then worst case scenario, I'll send a text, right? Because everybody gets text now, but, and a lot of people get spam calls, but I've noticed that voice text is like really effective because it's like, oh shit, you know, like you actually sent me a voice text, right? And I'm starting to learn a lot about our customers where we had opportunities for, let's say, individuals who are buying, like, I've had individuals, like I look at them like they've ordered 70 times. You know, and we haven't sent them a thank you note. We haven't, you know, sent them a gift. I start to get to know these guys on a personal level, turning some of them into wholesalers and affiliates and stuff. And I'm just like, this is going to be our biggest year. You know, I kind of trimmed the fat, and I was like, hey, we're going to roll our sleeves up and do the work. And again, man, it's really making a big difference. So
and if you,
it's almost kind of like that retail mindset.
Yeah. Sorry, it cut out for a second. I didn't know you were done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
But
no,
yeah,
I was just going to say with your energy with that's what's going to do it. You know, you're like, it hasn't happened yet, but you're excited about it. You have to be.
Yeah. You know, I would always try to, you know, for my social media managers, I was like, man, just, you know, when somebody mentions, just leave them a voice message. Let them feel your energy. Like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm like, well, you're going to have to be comfortable with it because there's a reason why you're not closing, you know?
Yeah.
And what's really cool, interesting, I mean, we're blessed because it's kind of like one of those things where we don't have to cold call people. We have a lot of foot traffic and a lot of customers. I mean, we're averaging about 10,000 customers a year, new ones. And on that average alone, I'm like, all we got to do is sustain and give them amazing consumer experience. And just, you know, we know what they're into. They love their dog.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have to play a guessing game, you know? So let's
they're
just get to know
contacting
them
you for a reason.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, and over time, man, I don't care what company, corporate, big, small, a lot of the times, if you call and try to talk to somebody about an issue, or if you order something, you don't, like you said, you don't talk to a person. You talk to an automated voice message system. You talk to some people that are in another country, and it's just a hassle. So people that are spending hard-earned money, when they actually get a phone call from a human being, it's like, oh shit, okay, now I can communicate. I don't have to press 1 and press 2, and so it just brings it to a whole nother relatable relationship with the consumer, man.
100%.
And that's why I wanted to know, like, to be able to be in business for that long, you have to be doing something to be able to bring these people in. And I mean, for one, jewelry, you just got to have good top quality. If you got better jewelry than anybody in town, then of course you're going to be the spot. But at the same time, that's why I wanted to know what type of marketing y'all use. Like, are you using social media? Y'all putting videos out? Are you putting commercials on TV? And it's interesting to hear that you actually went back to the old school way and was like, no, we're going to mailbox this, because I know one thing, everybody's going to check their mail at the end of the day.
That, and I was looking through my mail one time. I was out, I don't know, I was gone for a couple of days, so I had a whole stack of mail, and I didn't have, for some reason, I was thinking about those mailers, and I didn't have one of those in there. So I was like, why don't I be the only one in the mailbox? I made it a little bigger than the biggest envelope in there. So it's folded in. The rest of the mail is in the middle of it. You know, it's holding all the mail. You grab it all. That's the last thing. That's the thing actually in your hand, you know?
Yeah, because,
About that size.
nowadays you don't really see it. Because, I mean, if you think about it, when you were growing up, they would be buku in the mailbox, or they would throw them in your driveway or whatever the case may be. But now, for the majority, I think it would be like food places still send out coupons, and then like your car dealerships is really who all I see them from in my mailbox.
Right. So we try to do one side just with a stunning picture, and the info always on the back. So, you know, try to catch your eye with that picture, and then you're gonna flip it around, and there it is, and contact info and stuff like that. And, you know, like I said, last year, to really bump it up, we did it monthly. Now this year we're gonna do it quarterly. You know, it's not easy to do either. You know, you got to pick each borough, you know, which zip code you're going to do, and the boroughs inside the zip code, and you got to count them up. You know, so we're going to go quarterly this year, but that got it going, and people will bring them in. Is this you guys? You can do my watch, and we'll, you know, oh yeah, well, you know, let's do an estimate first, and we'll find out, you know. And then my father, in the beginning, all the way up to 2005, he was the repairman, the watchmaker, and he worked out front. So, you know, you got that Terry Coffrin thing. Everybody knew him, same community. And the biggest thing, and you guys will probably agree with this and your gear, it's honesty. You know, jewelry is, if you don't know jewelry, that could tell you anything. Oh, yeah, that's a diamond. Oh, no, that one's not one. Give it to me.
Yeah, especially now.
That's 40 years of honesty.
Yeah, because now they got lab-made diamonds and all kinds of stuff.
Organite. It's like, oh, yeah.
You don't know what you're buying.
Daniel, and I'm like, Daniel, got another one. Hey, come here. Because he's the one that went to school for it. You know, it's like, hey, get back over here. But,
so it's almost kind of like
a
shoe game, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like some of the shoe games that we see. I follow some of the people, and it's like you look at two shoes now, and they look identical, but it's like you gotta have a master, somebody who's looking at a lot of those same shoes that can really just find the smallest detail and go, this is a fake, you know? And that's how good the duplicates are. And I mean, I couldn't even imagine diamonds in now, and with AI, it's gonna be insane. And but yeah, man, it's interesting.
It's very, the lab and the natural is a very interesting thing, because, you know, people will be, go ahead.
No, I was thinking, you know, to add on to your, I mean, first of all, commend you for being able to survive the pandemic, you know, and COVID. Like, a lot of, I mean, that was a very, very challenging time for business owners, and it is either you are going to thrive or you are going to go under. And it's just a really unfortunate situation, man.
No,
and,
I lost.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I had a lawn service business too at the time that I've been running for going on 3 years. And during that point, like, I was lucky enough to have the graphics, and it was growing, and that business was increasing. So, but yeah, just because of that, like during that whole segment, man, in 2 years, you couldn't have contact with people almost, you know, it was, customers was like, oh, you can't come by the house, but I'll leave the money. And it just started becoming this weird situation where I was like, I'm just going to hang this up. So it sucked, man.
Yeah. Actually, what we did was we closed down for 4 weeks, and I didn't want to lose anybody. We did the PPP thing, and what we did was, because we do all these services in-house, I was like, you know, basically had a meeting with everybody and was like, are you guys good to be here? Are you ready for my idea? They're like, yeah, we're working. I was like, all right, come every day. So what we did was we did all of those services while we were closed. We just didn't take any new people. So all the work we had backed up, we did all the custom design, we did the bridal, we did all the jewelry repair, we did all the watch repair. So then when we opened back up, we just started making phone calls. That's what we did for 4 weeks.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that was the only way to do that.
I would consider you a high performing individual. What are some of your approaches towards life and your aspects? I mean, daily habits and stuff like that. What would be like a routine of yours that's allowed you to just be successful and have the mindset that you have today?
Now here, I mean, it's not to call out the X dog, but it's definitely getting on that beach in the morning, having those dogs run with their vests on. I absolutely love it. It just changes my whole day. We do about 6 to 7 miles at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've already done that before I deal with anything at work. It just makes work easier. I'll get somebody, they got a problem or we got to get something done. It's like, yeah, let's do it. I've already ran, a quarter of a marathon this morning. You know what I mean? So, that's a big thing. Getting to the store every day, not worrying about a day off, just going in, like if I got to spend 12 hours there or 2 hours there, just knowing that I stopped by and tackled everything. The run, going by the store, working on the fishing business, just kind of tackling something little of each part of my day. It goes from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening in a wink of an eye, a snap of a finger. I think that really helps too.
So you have a fishing business?
I did. I had Mr. Trigger Sport Fishing in Costa Rica, and I was just about to do it back here. That's why it was on my Instagram. But I just decided not to do it. I just, like, weeks ago. Like, even after you asked me to get on here, I didn't want to do something else that I love to do and turn it into that side of the business, like taking people out. I think it was going to take away from everything else. And then to start it and then get that window to maybe go over to Africa, it's like I'm going to leave clients behind. I'm going to have to send back deposits. It just wasn't right. It wasn't the right timing, and I want to be in the canine thing more. So
I think that's one of the hardest things to do as a leader or a person as an entrepreneur is not spreading yourself so thin. I did that for a long time. Yeah. And I had to dial in and go, okay, what's working for us? Let's go all in on that. And, people wanted us to continue their dog food. And, yeah, it had been convenient for them, but it was very inconvenient for us. Yeah. Super inconvenient for us.
Right.
And, competing with the freeze-dried treats and stuff like that. And I was like, we got to dial in on what's really working and go all in on it. And just not spread ourselves thin.
Yeah, you got to do that.
And I think, we always hear that, a millionaire has to have 7 streams of income, but you have to have that one stream of income first that you are dialed in and mastered, and you've got it mastered. And until you have it mastered, you shouldn't spread yourself too thin.
Correct. And that's what, like Zach was saying about, the jewelry store being around. And that's what you said, Stan, about the entrepreneurship. I got the jewelry store. I know my routine. I got good people. It's like, and that's that revenue right there. So let me get into some other things, and that's what helped with the ultra marathons. And, I could never do any of that. I'm trying to start this thing. It was the fishing. So that's kind of gone. But I've got these shirts called Not Entitled. And the whole thing behind that is kind of the slogan is nobody's entitled to nothing. Like I wasn't entitled to be on this podcast just because I like dogs,
Man, I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's nice.
I was running with the vest and, talking about the voicemails. I haven't had an Instagram voicemail, and I think maybe I had one from a buddy since I've had Instagram, and then all of a sudden I get this one that was a minute and a half from you, and I'm like, oh, damn, let's see what this guy's got.
Yeah.
And then I heard it, and I was like, oh, he wants me on a canine podcast? I ain't ready. I was like, no, I'm good.
No, right now I think we're in an era where everybody, like not everybody, the majority of people feel entitled. Like we're in an entitlement era where like people just feel entitled without having to do the fucking work, man.
Yeah.
And respect is earned, man. It's one of those things that has to be earned. You cannot fucking just ask for it. And I mean, you got to be able. People want to lead. People want to be heard, but they haven't done anything to be heard.
Right.
And it's if you're going to be a leader, you got to lead by example, and you got to have some experience. I don't want to go get financial advice from somebody who's broke. I don't want to get dog training advice from somebody who's never trained dogs, and I don't want to get business advice from somebody who's not ahead of me, or where I'm trying to reach.
Well, it's like the thing I was just talking about. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, actually probably about 10 of them now, and a lot of it's been about the breeding. Well, just because I listen to those, I'm not entitled to be a professional breeder. Let me go get a guy and a girl dog, and let me have some puppies, and now I'm in the group. Nah,
Yeah.
It doesn't work like
Yeah.
that, you know. I'm not. Yeah, and then just because I do that, I'm not entitled for somebody to come buy my puppies, you know.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I have puppies now, I can sell them. You know, it's like any business. Oh, I have a jewelry
Yeah,
store.
no,
You're
it's
just supposed to come in and buy something. No, you're not. You don't have to.
it's it's becoming a way of life these days. Kids are being raised without it, like you said, and it just creates this person that like exactly like you said, this entitlement, and it gets so bad. Like I was telling Stan the other day, we were at a local hockey game. We got a local hockey team, and they were giving away awards or whatever, and they had this guy. This was a grown man. This wasn't a kid that was doing the competition that I forgot what it was, but he had to answer a question. And the question was like, what's the oldest soda in America, right? And it was the three, and he got it wrong. And then they're like bullshitting, and the dude was like, "But oh man, I feel bad. We should still give him the shirt." And then everybody's like, "Yeah!" And I was the only one in the building. I'm looking at my lady. I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" Like,
Yeah,
he gets the win and he still lost. Like, I was like, "Bro, it's just bad, man. Like, it's bad."
It's like the participation trophies.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yeah, it's exactly.
Don't give me one of those.
You know, I've been getting this theme where I've been getting a lot of people who are in my network as far as just like even clients that are, you know, they're trying to start their own business and stuff like that. And they come and they ask me where are your manufacturers? Where are you doing this? Where are you doing that? And I thought about today because I had talked to, you know, some of my mentors, and they brought a point to me, and they're like, you got to just let them go do it on their own. You got to be able to say, look, I can't do this for you, because if I do this for you and I give you every single step, I'm robbing you from what the most important part of being an entrepreneur is, and that's the journey. Like, you have to go do the footwork. You know what I mean? Like, the failure. You got to be able to go get punched in the mouth. Like, I could tell you, like, people think they can just produce a product. They have a huge social media following, and they think they're just going to sell product. It doesn't work that way. Nope. There's a lot of intricate details that literally I can honestly and clearly say at least I've invested in. I don't say lost now. I say I've invested $1 million and gave away pretty much. I invested $1 million in learning lessons that didn't show me any returns outside of just knowledge, you know. And it's, you know, going on.
Keep hitting that, if that person keeps hitting you up, it's taken away from yours too, you know.
Yeah.
And
it's not. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm servicing right now, like I said, on the minimum 50 new, you know, 50 orders a day I'm reaching out to. And if I don't hit that 50, I'm going back to past people from last year, you know, and I'm going month after month after month because I want to dial in, and I'm going to have to, you know, go through this whole thing with a fine-tooth comb and go, okay, I'm looking for that person who had that bad experience, because if they had that bad experience, I want that's an opportunity for me to change that experience and make it right.
Oh, it's a huge learning
I've had a few of them, and they went from never wanting to do business to now they're fucking raising fans again, because I went back and took the initiative to solve that problem that they had with us and change that experience.
Yeah. Well, you can learn so much from failure if you just shut up, step beside yourself, and look at it. You know, why did I fail? You know?
Yeah.
Why did I do that? I mean, you might have, I'm sure you probably failed a few times on your vest, and you're like, oh, I need to put that there. The dog can run straight.
The first one.
Buckle. Yeah.
Yep.
The first one, they were a month and a half behind schedule, and then they all blew up because they didn't have the stitching correct.
Oh.
And so I had to take all the inventory at first. I had to get all the inventory back from the customers. I had to get and then I had to take every single vest to tailors, which cost about $5 to $7 extra, when I could have just spent the extra $1 or $2 just to have them ultra stitched, you know.
Yeah.
And it was an ass whooping. We took an ass whooping out the gate, but I learned a lot from that, you know.
Yeah.
I know we got a few questions in here from our guests.
Right.
You want to go ahead and start these, Zach?
Yeah.
We'll make sure everybody's in this wheel. I think I get everybody. So
let's see here. Neely Watts says, what is the difference between luring and rewarding behavior when you're training the dog? So we're on the dogs. Them are dog questions.
Okay. What is one thing what is the difference between luring and rewarding behavior?
Rewarding a behavior. So I know, like, basically they're saying, like, you got a piece of bacon or whatever, and you're just like, come here for no reason, like getting the dog to come to you to maybe put it up or something, or actually rewarding it for being like,
I would say
come.
luring is something that the dog has to chase or have to earn to get. The reward is the reward at the end after catching it. So, for example, if you're looking at lure racing, right, like Fast Cat, that's a lure,
Yeah.
right? Like they have to chase the lure at the end. They capture the lure. That's the reward. Some dogs can, there's shorter increments of luring. Like I see canine trainers who do figure eights, or they do just, they'll take a rag or a bite pillow and make them lure, and then the reward is the bite. The reward is always, it just depends, like, for example, a lot of dog trainers, when they use treats, the faster that the dog does the trick or whatever they're trying to get him to do, from sit, stay, or down, the faster they do it, the bigger the jackpot, the bigger the reward. And so the dog goes, okay, well, if I do it quicker, I'm going to get more food at a time compared to getting a little bit of nibble. So,
yeah. And I mean, me personally, like if you're trying to lure a dog, like if it's not coming and you got to go back inside and get some treats, me personally, I don't think it deserves the treat when it finally does come to you. If you got to bring him, you know what I'm saying? Like if you got to like lure him here. Yeah, I don't think he needs to be rewarded. Like you just tell him, hey, asshole, you're not getting this, but getting your crate. You know what I'm saying?
So do you use elk point retrievers? Do you use an e-collar in your dog training when you're training your shepherd for that SARS, or?
How's that work? Let's talk about that.
All right. Well, actually, we're kind of working with Arsenal Canine being down here. We're kind of working on that now. So I was doing a bunch of SAR stuff with my German Shepherd Mana, and I'd go take him to the park, the woods. I'd hide the ball, and then we'd go back and I'd walk my track back and we'd go out there. Well, he had real high drive in the beginning, and then about a month in through December, it was kind of like we got into January and he's like, yeah, I'll go get the ball. I was like,
yeah,
and then when they got here, we started doing it where we'd post up, and one of them, Jenna or Jason, would, shake the ball in front and, let's get it. And then they'd take off and we do a short track. Like, they just and hide behind the tree. Well, that boy fired right back up. It's like, all right, I get to chase somebody new, And then we extended that longer and longer. And then we got up to a mile. And now he's back, I put the vest on and he's shaking the crate again. But when they got here, it was at that kind of like, well, Dad, I don't want to go get my ball with just you. We gotta find people.
Make it more interesting.
Yeah. It was getting old, and we were doing it 3 or 4 times a week, and we're doing the beach runs, and he's just kind of like, let's just do the beach run kind of thing. And so they got it back into it. So I know what I need to do when they leave is I got to go recruit people. I don't want to get back on.
I think one of the most fascinating things that with my friend Derek Rose, who owns Dallas Canines here in Dallas, the thing that got me into like the PSA dog training stuff was he gave me a set of keys, right? And he's like, my dog can find this anywhere. And he goes, you'll hide it anywhere in the warehouse. Like I literally went and held, he just pulled his keys out and gave them to me. He put the scent on the dog, right? I went in, I fucking hid this motherfucker. I put it like in between like beef liver treats, elk venison patties and shit like that. And the dog found it. And I was like, holy shit.
Well, they separate smells like we do eyesight. Like something's green and something's blue. You tell me to find the blue thing, I'm going to go over and find the blue thing, It's like if you had a ton of strawberries and you taught the dog to find the blueberry in there. If he's a trained dog, he's going to find the blueberry because that's what he smells. You take a thing of blueberries and go find me the blueberry. It doesn't matter if it's a whole truckload of blueberry or strawberries. He's going to find the blueberry. It's like the whole thing on the TV shows with the down in Miami, they got the port and they're going to hide the drugs. So they spray the handle of the door with like WD. Oh, the dog can't find it now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That don't work.
That's such an interesting concept for yeah, seriously. Like, it's just amazing how well and how strong their noses are.
It's insane. It blows my mind. They're looking with their nose. They're literally looking with their nose.
So I guess that's how they're gonna. that's how they're going to distinguish, finding those snares in Africa,
Yep.
right? Because I mean, you got to think about it, there's so many different fucking scents out there.
Yeah.
I mean, from different animals marking different territories, and it's just like, how do you work distractions in Africa? Like, do you just let's have some fucking lions over here, let's have some antelope over here, and then let's go send the dog out to find some snares.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, right. I mean, and then the other thing is, they've got me. I've got a little Bluetooth speaker, and I play like African animal noises next to his pen at night or when I'm at work, so he gets used to the noises. But if I get to go over there, there's going to be about 2 weeks when we work on stuff. And I have a feeling that's imprinting him on the snares. Yeah. Obviously I don't have one over here. I can't lay one out in Sarasota, Florida. Can't walk around with elephant snares and shit, Oh, that's
nobody can come in the park today, guys. Yeah, nobody can come in the park today. I got some snares set up.
I got elephant snares out. They'll be like, that dude's nuts.
There's a video that just literally went viral a couple of days ago where this fucking rhino walks up on this dog sleeping, and the dog I don't know if you saw it, but the dog's sleeping, the fucking rhino walks up on it, and the dog gets up like, oh shit, and fucking freaks out, right? But the rhino just walked up on the dog, and I'm like, god damn. That, they just recently, I don't know if I forget where it was at. I just saw they recently they found a baby. It's like a woolly rhinoceros, but all the organs and shit were intact still. It was like frozen, and they literally just discovered it, and it has hair on it. But the most important thing is it still has its organs intact. So being able to take that DNA and clone that thing is possible.
Yeah, that's insane. I think I heard something about that. Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah, they had the hair and the organs, and it was all just kind of frozen. Yeah.
It was a baby one too.
That's crazy.
I ain't going to track them. Forget it. I got elephants.
It's crazy, like when you talk about.
Go get him.
Yeah, when you're talking about poachers and shit, fucking like, to me, it never made any sense to fucking murk or kill a rhinoceros just for its horn so your dick can get hard, supposedly, right? Like, It's just, you murder this fucking animal, this specimen, for its fucking horn. You would think that you'd be able to put it to sleep, maybe tranquilize it.
Yeah, cut them off
and let it survive, but they don't fucking do that shit.
They're actually, the anti-poachers are doing that now. If you go to some of these sites, like one of them is called Wildlife Initiative Africa. Wildlife Initiative Africa Canine Program on Instagram, and they are tranquilizing these rhinos, and they are cutting the horns off, and they are smoothing off the end and setting them back out there. That's how crazy it's gotten, and that's where they're implementing the canines. And I guess it's getting really big. That's why I want to go over.
And I think a lot of people have the misconception on hunting those animals over there. Like a lot of those like ethical places that they show. For example, it's like an old, like for an elephant, for example, it's like an old ass bull elephant that's really just fucking terrorizing, can't reproduce or anything like that. And it's just like it's actually hurting the herd more than it's helping the herd.
Oh,
so they got to take it out.
Males.
Yeah, it'll go in there and kill all the young males that can produce, and then it's actually thinning the herd.
Right, and by the time that hunter, wherever he comes from, comes over there, they've done so much research on that elephant.
Yeah.
Like they know that's the one that needs to be taken. It's not like machine gun. Go out there and just mow them all down. You know what I mean? It's that one. Yeah, and that's what people think, and it's not that. And it's like you just said, Stan, it's in a certain area too,
Yeah.
They've got him mapped out, and they're using every bit of that elephant. I mean, a village is going to eat it. They're doing this and that, and they're doing research on it, and they've got vets out there, and there's a lot that goes into that when they take one,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm stopping the assholes that cut the top of the horn off and just leave it for the birds.
Yeah, which is something great, man. Like that's awesome.
And I'm a hunter.
Yeah,
I'm a hunter.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thing, but it's a good thing, man, because last thing we need is a lot of these animals going instinct for no reason.
Yeah. I was just on a call with some people over there, and imagine if your kid or your kid's kid doesn't know what a rhino is. It's from a book.
Yeah, that'd be
you know,
fucked up.
and it's that close. You know, we're not talking dinosaurs. We're talking about something that's walking right now, you know, and that can happen. That can easily happen, especially in some areas.
Well,
wild.
We'll have to. First of all, Jason, I want to say thank you again for coming on, man, and taking your time. We definitely have to bring you on again in the near future, especially maybe if you get back after, come back from Africa. I'd love to, share that experience with everybody.
Oh,
out
100%.
There,
Yeah, absolutely. This is awesome.
Is Instagram the only place that people can find you, or where are you on other social media sites?
Yeah, I've got Coffrin Jewelers, Coffrin Jewelers, on Instagram. I have my fishing website. It's Mr. Trigger, sport fishing, but the main thing is probably my Instagram or YouTube, and it's Jason L. Coffrin. So YouTube and Instagram for me,
We'll
and then the
definitely
store.
subscribe to your YouTube for sure.
Yeah. We'll I'll definitely want to link to this podcast, and we'll put it up there for sure.
For sure, man. We'll get that over to you, man. So thank you so much, man, and I'll be in touch with you soon.
Absolutely. I really appreciate
Yeah, man. It was nice meeting you, bro.
It was an honor to be on a Canine podcast. You guys are awesome, and like I said, I've been listening to it, and the breeding thing. Wow. You guys are talking about hips and little tails, and I know Zach one time's like, I don't like the ear on that one. I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking at the ears. They're ears to me, you know.
Yeah, Zach is a fucking dog critic after ass. He's probably
whatever, bro.
He should become a judge.
No, bro. I'm here to enlighten the community and bring knowledge. That's it.
Oh, so
I'm a prophet. I'm a dog prophet. Yeah, God sent me here to be a dog prophet. That's what I am.
There you go.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon, Jason.
All right. Peace, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Take it easy.